Welcome to day 4 of the series. So we're moving into our last day of exploring this element of freedom. And we're going to finish this off with a really sweet and restorative style practice. Restorative yoga is so near and dear to my heart. It's absolutely amazing for resetting the nervous system. So if you've been feeling stressed or you've been feeling like stuck or all of those other emotions opposite to the feeling of freedom, this is just such a great way to kind of reset yourself, be really gentle. We've been doing some movement in our previous classes, so just feel free to take this time to just unwind, let go. We're going to be doing a really specific sequence to actually free the breath today, so freeing the front, the back body, the side bodies. Because when we can breathe deeply, we just naturally feel so much more free. So come into a comfortable seated position. I'm just taking an easy Sukhasana, cross-legged position. You can always have the option to place a folded blanket underneath the sit bones to give yourself a little bit of height. So especially if you have tight hips, this is a really nice thing to do. So find a comfortable position here. I always like to close down the eyes. And we just start to soften in the body, rolling out the shoulders, maybe rolling them back a couple of times to free up through the heart space. And take a nice long inhale. And exhale completely here, let it go. And let's do this 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale, let it all go. And one last time, inhale. And exhale completely. And then allow the breath to flow as it wishes. And we're going to briefly start to cultivate what's called a 3-part breath, or our Durga breath. So we'll be practicing inhaling through the belly, the rib cage, and the chest. So all 3 places, really trying to open up the capacity for the breath here. And we're going to do this at the start and the finish of the practice. So really notice how it feels right now. And then we're going to take a moment to notice at the end of the practice how that feels and how that's transformed. So starting with the low belly, I find it easiest to place the hands right onto the belly. As you inhale, breathe into the hands, expanding into the belly. Exhale, the belly softens back towards the spine. Inhale, breathing into the belly. Exhale, the belly softens. Beautiful. And then let's place those hands right on the lower ribs or towards the sides. Inhale, expand into the ribs now. And exhale, soften the ribs. Inhale, expand. And exhale, soften here. And finally, let's breathe right up into the chest. So you can place the hands beneath the collarbones. So breathing right up into the heart space now. Inhale, breathe into the palms. And exhale completely. Inhale into the chest. And exhale completely. And then we'll leave one hand right at the heart space here, one hand to the low belly, and we're going to connect all 3 places now. So as we inhale, you inhale into the low belly, the ribs, and the chest. Exhale, low belly, ribs, chest. Inhale, low belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, low belly, ribs, chest. Couple more times. Inhale, low belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, low belly, ribs, chest. Do it a couple more times at your own pace, with your own rhythm of breath here, tuning into how this feels for you right now. Whether the breath feels completely free, or maybe you notice some tight spots here, it's all good. And when you've completed your last round here, let's place the palms down, face up on the lap. And just allow the breath to return to its natural pace, letting that go. And if the eyes have been closed, you can softly open them, gazing at the floor first. Notice how soothing that breath work is right away. You can do that on its own at any time throughout the day. So if you were sitting up on your blanket, we're going to remove that now. You can just place it off to the side. We won't need it for a little bit here. And we're going to be using a bolster today. So if you don't have a bolster, that's totally fine. You can even use blanket rolls. You can use pillows from your bed, from your couch, whatever you can find that's a semi-firm surface. We kind of want it in a nice long tube shape like this. If you don't have a bolster, it's such an awesome investment. I'd highly recommend it. So for our first pose here, we're going to move into a restorative child's pose. So I'm just going to turn on my mat so you can see me a little bit more clearly. So the knees come about mat distance apart, toes come together. If you're really tight and you have a hard time with this on the knees, you can place that blanket roll between the heels and the hips, just to give you a little bit more height and support. I'm going to take that away for myself. The bolster comes right up between the legs. We actually want to feel the bolster right onto the belly here. You can walk the fingertips out, nice long spine, and then as you exhale, let's lower ourselves all the way down onto the bolster. I like to wrap my hands around the bolster here. Can interlace the fingers, the hands can come and stretch out in front of you. So really what we're looking for is comfort and ease, and we want to feel completely supported. So lastly, the head comes down. You can place one ear onto the bolster, and we'll turn the head partway through. So when you've landed here and you feel really easy and comfortable, we just allow ourselves to soften. And the beauty of these restorative style postures is we simply take the pose and then we allow ourselves to receive the benefit. So this is very much in alignment with the kind of work we're doing with this series. Moving into this deep feeling state, moving into this receptive state. And so while you're here, you might notice that the breath flows really easily into the back body. So as you inhale, you can imagine the breath moving into the low back, the middle back, the upper back. And with each exhale, you allow the body to melt down into the support of the bolster. And if the head is turned to one side, you can press into the elbows, turn the head in the other direction. So we'll take a few more breaths here with intention, breathing into the back body, opening the back space. And on your next inhale, let's press into the elbows. You can turn the head to neutral and really slowly start to walk the hands towards you, coming upright just for a moment. So as we move through restorative postures, it's super important as we transition to keep ourselves in that state of relaxation. We're going to turn the bolster so it's widthwise on the mat now. I like to place it about halfway along my mat. And then I'm going to turn to face you. So you can come onto your left hip here. The knees can come out in front of you, however they're comfortable. We're going to move into a restorative side body stretch. So the hip comes, maybe about 6 inches away from the bolster. And then we're going to start to lower ourselves down. So the left rib cage touches down onto the bolster, left arm extends out. The head can rest all the way down onto the arm. You might even want to make a little cushion with the arm. So again, it's not about having perfect form when we do these kind of postures. It's about finding that place of comfort, of relaxation. The right hand can stay where it is, or it can come up overhead, draping over the body. If you like that deeper stretch, the fingertips can reach towards the top of the mat. Legs can stay as they are, or you can start to extend that right leg out. And you'll feel this huge opening through the right side body. It feels so good. So we're opening up through the intercostal muscles, the little muscles that lie in between the rib cage. And we're opening up that right side waist. So breathing again fully and with intention into the right side body. Feeling with each breath that you let go a little bit more. Once again, we'll slowly start to transition out of this. You can walk those right fingertips back towards the bolster. You can push up with both hands to come all the way upright. That right leg can come in. From here, we're going to turn the bolster so it's lengthwise along the mat. The bolster comes right up to that left hip now. And we're moving into a restorative style twist. So another super yummy pose. This time we'll walk the fingers on either side of the bolster. I like to pull the navel really actively in towards the spine, and you can start to twist yourself so the chest comes all the way down along the bolster. Hands can come out on either side about shoulder height, and the head can turn towards the knees. Or if you're really fluid and easy through the neck, you can turn the head away. So once again, with this kind of practice, we're looking for ease. So we're looking to be in a position that we can stay and we can stay really comfortable. So I'm going to actually keep my head in this direction because I find it a little bit easier on my neck. And once again, feeling the support of the bolster beneath you. So these restorative style twists are really beautiful for neutralizing the spine. And they also help with our digestive system. Take a few more breaths in this pose. And if you're really enjoying yourself in any of these postures, feel free to just pause the video, stay a little bit longer. And once again, on your next inhale, let's start to walk the hands underneath the shoulders, pushing up into the hands to come all the way up, really sweetly, really slowly. You can sit yourself upright for a moment. And I'm actually going to change just so I'm facing the camera here, but you can feel free to just do this on the other side. So I'm going to move my bolster over here, and we're going to move into that series on the other side. So once again, the bolster comes widthwise on the mat, about halfway. Hips come about 6 inches away from the bolster, knees out in front of you, however it's comfortable. And you can start to walk those right fingertips all the way out. Arm can be outstretched, or you can make that little pillow with the arm. Left hand can come up overhead. Fingertips stretching out. You can drape the arm. Again, find whatever feels good for you. I'm going to stretch that left leg out because I really like the sensation that gives me on my side body. So now we're breathing into that left side body. And when we do any kind of side bend, we really increase the capacity for the breath. And that's the whole focus of the practice today, is freeing up the breath, creating more space, more life force, more vitality through the entire body. And once again, come back to the breath. Take a few more breaths with intention into that left side body. And on your next inhale, we can start to walk the hands underneath of us, pushing ourselves slowly upright, bending that left knee in if it was extended. And then we're going to switch the bolster. So moving it lengthwise on the mat, right up next to that right hip. So moving into our restorative twist now, the hands come on either side of the bolster. Lengthen the spine. Pull the navel into the spine to twist yourself so the chest comes down alongside the bolster. Hands walk out in front of you. So again, finding the position that works for your neck, you can face towards the knees, or you might want to turn the neck all the way away. That's going to deepen the stretch. For me, I'm going to keep it facing in this direction. So landing in your restorative twist. Feeling the front of the body soften onto the bolster, feeling really heavy. You don't need to hold yourself up here. Breathing along the entire length of the spine. And on your next inhale, as you feel ready, we'll start to walk those hands underneath the shoulders once again, transitioning up. Nice and easy. You can keep the eyes closed even if that feels good. Just take a moment to orient yourself upright. And for our final restorative pose, we're going to be doing a restorative back bend. So this is actually one of my absolute favorites. And a nice way to finish a restorative style practice, because back bends naturally give us a little bit more energy. They're very uplifting. So bolster comes lengthwise on the mat once again. I find for myself, I like to use my blanket right at the top of the bolster here to give a little bit more height for the head and the neck. And I'll show you what I mean by that when I lay back. So to get into this one, the bolster comes right to the base of the spine, right to the sacrum here. So as you're getting yourself set up, it's nice to have the feet flat on the ground, and you can lower yourself back onto the bolster. So this can take a little bit of adjusting. The blanket roll is really nice underneath the base of the skull. So you can see if I didn't have this, my neck would tend to tilt back. So we want to give the head a little bit of height. So the neck tilts down towards the chest just slightly. Hands roll out to your sides, palms face up, so we're open through the heart center here. With the legs, you've got two options. I like to take a Supta Baddha Konasana, so the soles of the feet together, the knees out wide. Or if that's not comfortable and you're tight through the hips, you can just extend the legs out in a Shavasana style position. So play with it. Again, make sure it's as comfortable as it possibly can be. Take your time to set yourself up. And once you've landed, again, use that exhale breath to start to melt into the support of the bolster. So we're getting this really nice extension through the spine. We're creating all this spaciousness and freedom across the front body, especially through the heart, the throat. And notice how easy it is to breathe into the front body, into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest. Let's take 3 more full rounds of breath here. And once again, if you're feeling that you want to stay, please do give yourself that freedom. Pause the video, stay as long as you like. And for the rest of us, if you're ready to transition, we'll use the support of the hands if you're in your Supta Baddha Konasana to lift the knees towards one another, staying soft through the inner thighs here. I like to use my elbows and forearms to push into the earth, starting to walk my hands upright, leading with the heart. You can come back into a cross-legged position, and let's remove our props now so you can get them out of your way. And we're going to simply lie back into our Shavasana position now, just to take a moment to integrate the practice. So even with a restorative style practice, we still want to take this moment to really rest and receive and integrate. Now, because we've been in a back bend, you might have the inclination to hug the knees in towards the chest here before you stretch out. I'm feeling like that would be a good thing to do. So just neutralizing the spine here from that back bend. You can rock side to side. And then we'll extend the legs out, the arms out. Palms face up once again. You can shift and shimmy as much as you need to so that you feel really comfortable here. And once again, we allow ourselves to let go. And feel into the back space of the body, the heels, the calves, the hips, all along the back, the shoulders, the arms, the back of the skull. And feel that all of these areas are melting down towards the earth. So we're letting go of any holding. And the breath flows in and out with ease. And once again, we'll tune back into the rhythm of the breath, starting to increase the inhale, bringing energy and vitality into the body with each breath. And you can wiggle the fingers and the toes, rolling out the ankles and the wrists. You can walk the feet in, rolling off to the right or the left side, whatever feels more comfortable and supportive to you. I always like to pause in a fetal position. And then on your next inhale, let's bring ourselves all the way back up. You can keep the eyes closed. And finding your easy Sukhasana, your easy seated pose. Nice long spine, hands face down on the lap. Noticing the shift that has occurred. And you can place one hand on the low belly, one hand on the chest. On your next inhale, let's breathe into the low belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, low belly, ribs, chest. Inhale, low belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, low belly, ribs, chest. 2 more rounds on your own. And when you've completed your final round, let's place the hands on the lap, palms face down this time. You can slowly start to open the eyes, letting the light back in. Gaze down to the floor. And so just take a moment to notice the shift there. I feel super chill. Hopefully you do too. I notice that the breath feels easier and more free. So even though I'm relaxed, I just feel more at ease. I feel like I have more energy flowing through me. So that's the beauty of these kinds of practices. And thank you so much for participating in this practice today. So this is day 4. We've just completed our expression of freedom. And so for day 5, we'll be moving into our connection to the feeling state of joy. Feel free to come back to these freedom practices as much as you like. This restorative practice, even though we're doing most of these in the morning, if you can, this is a really nice practice to do before bedtime as well, or if you've had a really stressful day or week. So these practices can be used again and again, and I can't encourage that enough. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you tomorrow. Namaste.